crunch of the tires over the dirt, the dust in the teeth. This is gravel racing, folks. This is the Stade Vino. This is a 2-weekend race. This is weekend number 1 for all those non-Italian speakers. Stade Vino translates to street wine. We raced around a winery outside of town, which was pretty cool. This is the field here. Let's zoom in on me, nibbling my fingernails nervously before the race. Our race was about 50 guys. It was Cat 345. Let's take a quick look at the course profile. Like I said, this is a circuit race, so we actually did this loop 4 times. And pretty soon after the start finish, you take a super sharp right and start this climb. And this was kind of one of the biggest factors of the day. This climb was short and punchy, probably 2-3 minute effort, but it was just long enough to let you know that you should have stopped drinking milkshakes and gotten on the trainer a lot sooner during the winter. So my strategy during this climb was to get toward the front at the top in order to have the best line choice on the way down. So the descent was immediately after, and when it comes to descending on gravel, I'm a big wiener, so I wanted to be at the front and just get the best line I could coming down. All right, I'll speed it up for you guys. You guys know how a climb works, right? You just pedal your bike up the hill. We'll kind of speed it up. I did start whooping recently. Recovery score of 96 today, which means I'm ready to rock and roll. Anyways, get to the top. I'm second over the top of the climb and start rolling through the descent. I'm sure I weigh about 100 pounds more than any of these people, especially the 16-year-old that's on my wheel right now. And get through this descent right here. It's not technical, but like I said, I'm such a wuss. And this curve right here, the gravel was a little loose on the inside, so I take the outside, which, I don't know, maybe it was good, maybe it was bad. So get through this first descent and get to the bottom of the hill here, and my plan was just to hopefully let people rotate through. So I kind of stopped pedaling and sit up. I've raced other races where wind was somewhat of a factor, but never to the level of what it was today. I should have got my finger out, really measured that wind, but I kind of took it for granted. I didn't really pre-ride the course, and it was kind of right in your face as you came off of this descent. And I didn't realize at the time how much of a selection had already kind of been made just with that climb and descent. And then as we go through this headwind, it already kind of had fractured. So this is kind of the front of the group, front of the peloton here, and then it's probably a little less than half of the field is with us at this point. All right, this is getting boring. I'm going to speed it up. So watch the map in the upper right corner. This is the headwind side. Like I said, you're going to hit the super hard right-hand turn, and then you head back towards the winery. It's kind of undulating, and yeah, that's about it. You hit the winery, lap 1, done. Dude, at this point, I mean, I knew we were racing, but I kind of just forgot, I guess, and I didn't even look behind us to see how many people were with us. If you look in the rear cam, there's only a handful of guys. So I would say about half of the field is represented here, and that's just the first lap. So kind of crazy. That wind, the climb, the descent all played a big factor in the selection. All right, let's jump over to the climb here. If you've watched previous videos, I've talked about how as a bigger dude, it's important to sag the climbs, which means that you want to be at the front of the group before you hit the climb, and then you can allow a lot of people to pass you and work harder up the climb as you kind of take it easier to conserve energy. And by the time you get to the top of the climb, you still kind of want to be connected to the group in order not to get dropped, but not worry about using as much energy as you would if you were at the very back. Anyways, as you can see, I just passed everybody. So once again, using that same strategy as I did on the first lap of being towards the front to get that best line choice on the descent. In my mind, as I was doing it, I was like, yeah, this is really dumb. I don't need to be passing all these people, but let's skip ahead and see what happens. So I was one of the first guys over the top, but wiener descender. I allow a bunch of people to pass me down the descent. No big deal. I am going to say that I'm justified in being a wiener descender, because let's check this guy out in front of me take this loose gravel. Dude, so sketchy. Alright guys, so I'm going to remind you of a few things. I'm a 200 pounder. I like me a good crit. I like me a good sprint finish. But in this moment right here, I realized that we just got a little baby gap, and the lead group, they're still in range. So get on this dude's wheel, and I slingshot around and put in this effort. At this point, I kind of figured, yeah, a handful of people are going to come up, it's going to slow down, it's going to come back together, and never have I ever in my life been in a breakaway, but I know that this is what they say to each other in the movies. If I'm being honest, I've used that line before in a crit, but it never works. But, spoiler alert people, this group was motivated. There was a headwind. Everybody took a turn on the front, and the gap started to grow. This was the race-winning move, the breakaway, and I was in it. Shout out to Tony, rear cam. He bridged up, including me. Total of 6 in the breakaway. Stoked. All right, jumping ahead just a bit. This is really illustrates how big of a factor the wind was, because there was still a ton of strong people back in that chase group. If you look at the rear cam, you can kind of barely make them out. This is probably 2 or 3 minutes after this break was established, and this is one of the last times that we really saw them. All right, watch this super sneaky move by Ben here in the Birds kit. You got Brandon who just pulled off. Ben opens a gap, makes Brandon fill it in. Not cool, brosif. Even though I've already done that once or twice, I needed to let everybody else know that they needed to pull through and work hard to make this break work. A little bit later, I want to make sure that everybody else doesn't screw up my first breakaway. I love me a good AliExpress deal, and so I'm ripping a Chinese frame in this race. I call her Thunderson. I ordered it during the pandemic for 50 extra bucks. They painted me up a nice little logo there and a lightning bolt. Anyways, half the time I've ridden this bike, I've only ridden it like 4 or 5 times. Half the time something breaks, have a mechanical. I've like had to DNF on cross races and get picked up on gravel races, or gravel rides I should say. And some of the times it's Chinese problems, other times it's like legit SRAM parts breaking on me. So I gave myself the 50-50 chance that I'd finish this race without a mechanical. Let's just check in with what kind of sounds my bike's making right now. Alright, so I would give that a solid 6.5, 7 out of 10. Some clicky, grindy noises, which probably aren't great, but let's check back in later in the race. Here we are rolling through the start finish. 2 laps down, 2 to go. Each lap is about a little over 5 miles. And previously, like I said, we got a good gap on that chase group. But as you know, after the start finish, we're going to take this hard right. This is lap 3, so one more of these climbs after this one. Everybody kind of realized it's going to be tough to work alone in that headwind on that backside of the course. So kept it fairly holstered, no funny business.
You got one more of these, don't blow yourself up.
Mostly speaking out loud to myself on that. We had thought that we had a pretty good gap on everyone, but once we got probably halfway up that climb, we looked back and there was a chase group behind us.
Hey, get organized quick on the bottom.
When I go back and listen to these videos and I'm yelling at people, I feel like a complete idiot. I'm sure everybody here realizes that, yeah, when we get done descending, it might be a good idea to continue to do what we've been doing for the last half an hour. One important note, check out the rear cam here. This last guy, he was the bridger. I don't know how long he was back there bridging up, but dude, he freaking made it. Legend. Dude, look how nice I am. Not only do I pay him a great compliment, I yell at him, tell him to get organized, and then he tries to wave me on to go make this bridge. And I'm like, no man, you just bridged up, you're really good at it, you go ahead, I'll follow your wheel. At this point in the race, I look around and we got 6 people in the break, 3-person podium. I'm liking my chances a lot. But let's look at who we got here. First of all, it wouldn't be a local Boise race if we didn't have a bird amongst us. Dude, this kid rips. Definitely underestimated him. We also got Brandon. Blue dude Brandon. Met him after the race. Super good guy. Yeah, guys. Two bins. Both 16. If you add both their ages together, they'd still be younger than me. Alright, last lap, here we go. Cross the start finish, and we head towards the last climb. I got one last message for these guys.
Just don't get gritty until we get on the last straight. Hey, what are you talking about, man? I'm a climber.
I didn't catch this guy's name. He's the guy that bridged up. Absolute legend. But he was definitely not buying my ploy to get everybody to stick together until the last mile or so. I met Cameron after the race. He was also part of this break group. Super fun riding with him. The last climb, I'm hoping that we can keep it together. If I can get over the climb, get down the descent with this group, I really like my chances. And right when we hit the climb, I call out.
Keep it smooth. You going for it?
Bird Ben comes up next to me and says he's not, so I'm like, crap. I hammer it a little bit, get towards the front. I don't want to get disconnected from these guys. Ben, the other Ben on the front, he puts in a little dig. The Reeds guy, he stays on his wheel, and it kind of settles back down just for a second, and I think, okay, we're good. Everybody's going to kind of keep it holstered here. The way the climb works is it pitches up fairly steep at the beginning, levels off right here, it kind of settles down a bit, and then you can see in front of us it pitches up again. And right here, I think I better grab a drink before this next little rise.
Oh, my bottle fell out.
So last bottle shook out on the descent, and sure enough, as we went down the descent over this climb, I saw it on the side of the road. Last full bottle, definitely started to feel some fatigue in the legs, and yeah, not a good situation to try to finish this last lap. Right here, you can see Brandon kind of surge up.
Do it. Don't do it. Ben's doing it. Ben's doing it.
Dude, freaking sneaky bird Ben. As we were coming around the corner to go up this climb, he looks over at me, he's like, oh, I'm tired. And dude, he launches up this last little kicker. And I'm doing all I can just to try to stay somewhat connected. Brandon comes around me, and yeah, both bins are up the road. And I think, okay, as long as I can stay close to Brandon here, then maybe I can stay connected to these guys. And we still got a long lap to go. All right, I'm going to speed it up real quick. So I'm on Brandon's wheel. We hit the descent. All I have to do is stay close to him on the descent. That's it. That's all I have to do. Come around this corner, the corner that's been sketching me out all day, and guess who returns? Yep, this guy, Wiener Descender. I slowly watched Brandon just get farther and farther away from me. But I think, whatever, I'm at the bottom of the descent now. I can stop being a Wiener Descender, hammer a little bit, I'll get back on his wheel, we'll bridge up the younger guys, and we'll be on our way. Let's see how that goes. So what I thought would be maybe a 30-second effort to get back onto the front here turned into almost a 2-minute effort, and it hurt bad. I mean, I'm hammering it. The watts at this point aren't really showing up because I'm super tired. But those two guys on the front, the bins, bin 1 and bin 2, dude, they were making it hurt, punishing me. But I do get back on. This guy right here in front, he is a dropped rider, I believe, from the other race. So he didn't really count. Once he realizes I'm on his wheel, he makes me kind of do my duty and get back on with those guys. But get back on. Heart rate is super pegged, and the bins, I mean, they are not letting up. All right, so figure I better start rotating through. We got Brandon here in front of me. He flicks me on. Still not totally recovered. Wish I really had a bottle at this point. But you see a little riser coming up, and I figure maybe I'll get on the front, try to slow that pace down a little bit, and just continue to recover. And I think the bins, both of them just saw the weakness in my old age, and you can see him surging in the back. And I mean, all three of these guys, there goes bin number 1, there goes bin number 2, and then Brandon as well, he comes around me. They just see that I don't have it, and I try, stay connected here, but once again my heart rate spikes up and I need to recover. Guys, this is the moment. Sharp right here, come out, these guys start hammering again, and this is when I really just have to suck it up, get one last dig in, because I think, I mean, if I can stay with them just this last section, I can probably get through kind of these rollers and get to the finish and try for a sprint. But I get dropped like a sack of potatoes. I honestly cannot remember the last time I've been dropped like this, where you're just watching them leave, just slowly roll away from you, and there's just nothing you can do about it. I just had 0 left in the tank. And to be honest, like, all I could do was smile because, dude, those guys, like I said, I underestimated both the bins, these 16-year-olds, and they raced a super smart race. And Brandon, dude, he just definitely had more in the tank. He was able to cover all the moves and obviously descend a lot better than me. Just wasn't my day, guys. Just was not my day. As we watch these guys roll away, let's just check in with my bike one last time. Some nice squeaks, some nice grinding noises. Probably not great, but I am happy to report I did cross the finish line. Got 4th, was hoping for a podium, but props to these guys. Also, respect to Brian Cohagen. He always takes really cool pictures. Some great paint faces here. Next race is this Saturday, same time, same place, same course. And I'm not even gonna tell you guys my strategy because I know those bins are watching this video and I'm not gonna let my secrets out.